Greetings, Pilgrim. It's Will from StormTheCastle.com. Join me for a walk in the Sense of Wonder library. I'm going to pick out a book for you. And this book is really important to me. I fulfilled a lifelong dream of seeing all of America, and I did that. I spent 6 months, and I drove 20,474 miles, and I visited all 48 states in the continental U.S. And in this episode 10, we're following along with that adventure. And in episode 10 here, we visit 4 castles along the Hudson River in New York State. We start at the northern part in a place called Millbrook, New York, and we travel down the river to Lyndhurst Mansion, which is in Tarrytown, not far from New York City. Let's get a closer look there. And I'll show you, and I'll tell you some interesting little anecdotes about these places. And first, let's take another look at a clearer map so you can see what I mean. See, there you go. Wings Castle up the north. And then we finish off this video at Lyndhurst Mansion down at the bottom. So let's do the intro and then let's do it. Wings Castle. It's in a city called Millbrook, New York, and it was built by Peter and Tony Ann Wing. And so it's a privately owned castle, privately built over the past about 50 years. It's been worked on, and it continues to grow and evolve. And it's really quite a wonderful castle. And it is, you can visit it. It is seasonal, but I believe the seasons go from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and you can book it for as a bed and breakfast. You can also have weddings hosted there. So wonderful little castle, all handmade, quite a treat to visit, but you should call ahead of time. So let's move on to Bannerman Castle. This is an interesting little castle here, and it isn't really a castle, and it's situated on an island called Polapel Island. I'm right on the Hudson River, and the only way to get to it is by ferry boat. And they have regular ferry trips that go out there. You pay for the tour, the boat, and it's all kind of nice. And you take the ferry boat out there. There it is. There's the island right there. Bringing back memories of. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the day. And if the weather is good, you're going to have a really nice time if you want to do something like this. And it's quite unique in that you have to, take a boat out to get to the castle, which actually is it was built as a warehouse in a castle style. And it was built by Francis Bannerman in 1901. And he made his money as a military surplus dealer. But there was a explosion in 1920 in the powder house that damaged the structure significantly. And in 1969, a fire caused even more damage to the structure, leaving it as pretty much an empty shell. So this is what we have left here, and I'll show you some pictures. But we went on the island, you take a walk around, and you get a tour, and the tour guide is really nice, tells you all about it. But there's just remnants of the structure, and they've spent money. It's in a trust now, and they've spent money to brace it up and to keep it from collapsing, so you can see the metal structures there. And on the island there also is a manor house that you visit, and that manor house is now, it's small, but it is now a kind of like a museum where they have stuff about Bannerman and stuff about the castle, even blueprints and things like that, which is kind of nice, which I liked. See, there's the manor house, and they actually now have a stonemason rebuilding it, which over time is going to be really nice. I'll show you a picture or two of the rebuilding as it's going on. But an interesting day, something different to do if you're in the New York area. You take the ferry boat out, which is, in itself a treat. But see this, I love this. These are actually drawn by Bannerman himself. Just how the conceiving of a kind of a castle goes. It actually was a warehouse, but in a castle-like design. So that's a Bannerman Castle. Funny thing is, from the New York, from the the roads and the highway, You see it and you say, wow, it looks good. But you get up close, it's not quite as impressive. And that's it. So kind of plan a half day for something like this. So let's move on to the next castle as we adventure further south. And that is something called Castle Rock or Osborn Castle. It's also called Cat Castle. And the rumor is that this Osborn Castle was somehow the inspiration or the moniker for the Wizard of Oz castle, the one that the Wicked Witch of the West stays in. But you can't, it is privately held on private land. So you can only get so close to it. Like they have this little park, the state of New York has this little park called Castle Park. So that's what I went. And to try to get some video and some images of it from a distance, without, violating the privacy of the place. But I believe they used to have functions there, and maybe they still do. And you may be able to, if you're in the media, like the legitimate media, newspaper, magazines, television, I think you can contact them and get an appointment to come to the castle and look around and take pictures and whatnot. But, I love the look of this castle. Even from a distance, it's quite something. It almost adds to the mystique of it. But this is just a small little park. But over the course of decades, all of this land was owned by the Osborn family, and much of it was donated and now is a park for the state. But, some of it still around the castle is still privately owned. And it's all clearly marked that you can't, travel. But you can see how this castle does have a very Wizard of Oz kind of feel to it. Right? Isn't that great? I should get a drone and fly the drone up there to take a look at it, but I'm wondering if that would also, be an invasion or an imposition of privacy on the owners. But so that's Osborn Castle, also known as Castle Rock or Cat Castle. So let's move on to the final one in this video, which is Lyndhurst Mansion, which is quite a bit different than the other ones. This is, more of a mansion, and it was originally designed in 1834. First, let me say, while I was there was a festival going on, which was kind of nice. A lot of vendors and food and things for sale and stuff like that. Seeing a little puppet show or marionette show, which I love.
This is at Lyndhurst Mansion.
Now, if you want to know how to make a marionette theater, I do have a video on how to do that, and I do have a video on how to make marionettes. Just, to plug some of my other stuff. But then here's a view of Lyndhurst Mansion from a distance. And one of the beautiful things about this mansion is the grounds. It was very much designed with the grounds in mind and how the landscape is. And there is a carriage house not far from here that is part of it. And I went over there. I'm not sure if I added any pictures, but so, it's very English baronial manor-esque in terms of the landscaping, the trees, the greenhouse, and all the land around it is very well manicured with hills, and that was part of the English landscape kind of feel. But see the beautiful, I think is that dogwood. It was originally owned by, the New York City Mayor William Paulding in 1834. Since then, it's had two other owners. And now it belongs to the state. And it's a Gothic Revival architecture. So that's it. That's 4 castles along the Hudson River in New York City. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in medieval things, I've got a whole lot of it here. This is the 10th video in this series that I'm doing all summer. And I've got a whole lot more going, and I'm actually several weeks behind. I visited many, many other places and a couple of more blacksmiths, and those videos will be coming up. Have you ever considered doing a quest? Do you have a dream to do something big? I say figure it out and go for it. I never, in my life, I never thought I would actually take a significant chunk of time to just travel all around America, but it's a possibility. It can be done. I'm doing it, and you can do something like this, or something else that you have a big quest to do, or something new, a goal or a dream you have in your life. You can do it, and follow along with mine. by supporting me on Patreon. Thank you. And of course, lots of stuff about this on my website at stormthecastle.com. See you in the next episode.